My third network was started 8 years ago, and it's called Indiaspora. So, what is this network all about? I'm an Indian American, so I really wanted to do something for the community that I was part of. So, once again, being an entrepreneur, I talked to over 100 people in the community to see what was lacking, what didn't happen in the community, what needed to happen, and so forth. And out of that was born Indiaspora. And again, the reason for starting this organization is our community is very young in the United States. And the diaspora of India, although the 30 million of us outside the country, they've gone to different countries at different times and have had different experiences. In the US, for example, the diaspora is 1% of the US population. Very successful diaspora, as everyone knows, the highest earning demographic in the country, so on and so forth. 7% of the doctors in the US are Indian, as we see now in the days of COVID. They're very helpful. But the community itself didn't have the influence that many other communities had. So we benchmarked ourselves against the Jewish community to see what they were doing. And they were very helpful in telling us what worked and what didn't work and how we could go set this up as well. So Indiaspora was born to do three things for the community. Again, the purpose was to really make the community more influential, more philanthropic, and to really get engaged in the deeper issues of the community. So the first thing we took on was a audacious goal to say, for 1% of the population of the US, how come we have no representation in the US Congress? So our network over 3 election cycles wrote literally hundreds of thousands of dollars to any candidate with an Indian name, whether it's Kamala or Ro Khanna or Pramila Jayapal or Raja Krishnamurthy, many of these candidates. And in 2017, we were able to celebrate that the community now represented 1% of the US Congress. So these are the kinds of ways we can inspire the community through our members and to really get leaders in many different fields. The first one was to really get more politically engaged, both in voting and in running for office. The second thing we did was to bring the community together around issues that we had to take on. The first one was a symbolic one. We did not have a stamp for the biggest festival that Indians celebrate throughout the world, which is Diwali. All other major festivals like Christmas or Hanukkah all had Eid, had stamps in the US Postal Service. So we undertook a 2.5-year campaign, which included meeting with President Obama to get his support, which involved in walking the halls of Congress to introduce symbolic legislation to get a stamp issued, and finally, to write 20,000 letters from the community to the US Postal Service asking for a stamp. And this process is very hard. There are 10,000 requests the USPS gets every year, and 25 of them get approved. So we were happy in 2016 to be one of the 25 chosen, and this was a brand new Diwali stamp, which you can get today if you want to still get it. It's a very popular stamp, and the website is diwalistamp.com. But again, the next thing we took on at Indiaspora was philanthropy. Most recently, for example, when COVID happened a few months ago, our members came to us and said, how can Indiaspora really make an impact around the COVID crisis? So we took on this task and in a week put together a giving campaign called ChaloGive. And the website is chalogive.org, where we started a campaign to fight hunger during the COVID days in the US through food banks and for the migrant workers in India. And this has been a successful campaign. We've raised almost close to $1.2 million that has enabled over 7 million meals to people in the US and in India. We also run an annual Philanthropy Summit to get all the donors together with nonprofits and foundations. And so these are the kinds of purpose-driven things that we do in the Indiaspora organization. And so again, when you look at this and you relate it to a moonshot, some of the practical advice I can leave you with, and hopefully some inspiration for all of you to consider. One is you got to have a great purpose for the network you already have or you're going to start. So what is that greater good, the greater purpose for the network? Second, what are some tangible goals you can set that can make an impact? Is it raising a certain amount of money for philanthropy? Is it to make certain things happen? And so these are the three organizations that I've run. Again, purpose, and vision. You need the team, you need money and resources. And finally, you really need to give it time so that the network can make an impact. So quickly, the three organizations, if you want to look up more, are the first one on the tech side is sandhill.com. The second one around sustainability is ecoforum.com. And the third one around the Indian American and the diaspora community is Indiaspora, INDIASPORA.org. So I hope I've been able to give you some practical advice and hopefully to inspire you to start your networks that can make a great impact.